The macaw screamed a word at 3 a.m. Not a squawk, not the meaningless syllable repetition that parrots cycle through during sleep phases. A word, clear, loud, unmistakable, at a volume that woke both parents, the baby, and the neighbor's dog. Mama. Her husband Ray was already reaching for the baby monitor. The screen was green. 8-month-old Juliana was in her crib, visible on infrared, lying still. Mama. Captain. A 26-year-old blue and gold macaw with a vocabulary of approximately 40 words and the temperament of a retired drill sergeant, was perched on his sleeping stand near the front window. He never vocalized at night. In 4 years of living with the Peraltas, Captain had maintained the circadian discipline of a clock. Lisa walked to the living room. Captain was awake, feathers flattened against his body, high alert posture. His head tracked Lisa as she approached. "What is it?" "Mama." Captain shifted on his perch and looked toward the hallway, toward the nursery. Lisa followed his gaze and felt the first pulse of something she couldn't name. She went to the nursery. Juliana was asleep, breathing, warm, normal. Lisa stood in the doorway for 30 seconds, then went back to bed. She told Ray the bird was being weird. Ray said, "Parrots have night frights." They went back to sleep. Captain screamed again at 3:44 a.m. "Mama! Mama! Mama!" Each aimed down the hallway like a directed beam. If you stay for stories about the ones with feathers who refuse to be quiet, subscribe to Feathers and Family. Lisa went to the nursery again. This time she picked up Juliana. The baby was warm, too warm. Lisa pressed her lips to Juliana's forehead, the most accurate thermometer a parent has at 3 a.m. She carried Juliana to the kitchen and found the digital thermometer, 103.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Juliana had been fine at bedtime. No runny nose. No fussiness beyond teething irritability. The fever had developed entirely during sleep, climbing from normal to dangerous in the hours between midnight and 4 a.m. Lisa administered infant acetaminophen and called the pediatric nurse line. The nurse said, "Monitor and bring her in above 104. Lisa held Juliana in the rocking chair, heat radiating through the cotton onesie. Captain was silent now. He had repositioned on his perch to face the nursery hallway, head cocked at the angle birds use for maximum directional listening. By morning, the fever reached 104.1. Lisa took Juliana to the ER. The doctor diagnosed a urinary tract infection. Silent, asymptomatic, except for the fever. In infants under 12 months, UTIs present without pain signals. The only symptom is the fever itself. "Caught early. This is routine antibiotics," the doctor said. Left untreated, a UTI at this age can progress to pyelonephritis, kidney infection. That's a hospitalization. Has a pet bird ever done something at night that made no sense until it did? Tell us. Birds observe everything, and sometimes they report. Lisa asked if a bird could detect a fever. The doctor smiled diplomatically and declined to comment on avian diagnostic capabilities. But Lisa had researched. Macaws have a body temperature of approximately 104 degrees. Their thermal sensitivity, evolved for regulating body heat in tropical environments, allows them to detect temperature differentials with precision that rivals infrared sensors. Captain hadn't heard the fever. He had felt it. The heat radiating from the nursery, a body whose temperature had risen 3 degrees above normal, registered on the thermal map of a bird whose species navigates by heat signature across rainforest canopies. The veterinary avian specialist Lisa consulted confirmed the hypothesis. Large parrots are documented thermal detectors. In the wild, they locate warm air currents, sun-heated roosting sites, and the body heat of nestlings from significant distances. A 3-degree temperature change in a nearby room would be, to Captain, as obvious as a floodlight switching on. He didn't diagnose the UTI, the specialist said. He detected a thermal anomaly in his environment and used the most urgent word in his vocabulary to alert the primary caregiver. Subscribe to Feathers and Family. Juliana's UTI cleared in 5 days. The fever broke within 24 hours. No kidney involvement. Ray installed a nursery thermometer that sent alerts to his phone. It alarmed twice in the following month. Both times, Captain had already started calling. Lisa moved Captain's sleeping perch to the hallway outside the nursery. Ray said it was unnecessary. Lisa said the bird had earned the post. Captain settled into his new position without protest. Feathers smooth, eyes closed at 9 p.m. Open at 6 a.m., but between those hours, his head stayed turned toward the nursery door. Listening for heat. The avian veterinarian who examined Captain the following month found nothing unusual. No illness, no distress, no behavioral disorder. A healthy 26-year-old macaw with a vocabulary of 40 words and a thermal sensitivity that had been quietly operating every night for 4 years without anyone noticing. Macaws in the wild use thermal detection to navigate canopy layers, the vet explained. The temperature differential between sunlit and shaded branches is how they select roosting sites, find food sources, and avoid predators. Your macaw applied the same system to his domestic environment. A 3-degree fever in a nearby room registered as a thermal anomaly, and he responded the only way he could. Lisa asked if Captain would do it again. The vet smiled. He's been doing it every night. You just didn't know until the temperature changed enough for him to escalate. That was the detail that stayed with Lisa longest. Captain hadn't started monitoring Juliana on the night of the fever. He had been monitoring her every night since she came home from the hospital. The thermal map of the house, every room, every body, every degree, was something he tracked continuously, silently, from his perch in the hallway. The fever was the first anomaly. The scream was the first report. But the surveillance had been running since day one. Ray stopped calling it a night fright after that. He called it what it was, a 26-year-old sentinel who had been standing watch over his family in a language no one spoke until the night he translated it into the one word that mattered, Mama.